Welcome to another segment of Survive and Thrive with Sherry. As you can see, I'm not Sherry. Once again, I'm pinch hitting for Sherry. And joining us on the show today is candidate for the mayor of Springfield, Mr. Paul Palazollo. Paul,
Michael, thank you very much for the
agreeing to be on the
opportunity.
show.
I would rather have seen Sherry, but you're a good friend, and it's good to see you.
Okay, well, good. Well, she's probably just a little bit better looking than me, but
as Ed McMahon would say, you are correct, sir.
you're correct, sir. Yeah. This guy's got a good sense of humor too, people. He's got a good sense of humor.
Gotta have fun.
Yeah.
Gotta have fun.
Well, we're going to get right down to it. You are a candidate
Yes, sir. I am.
for mayor here in the city of Springfield,
Absolutely.
Illinois. And for our viewers out there that don't know about you, tell us a little bit about your background in terms of, you were born and raised here in Springfield?
Absolutely. I was born and raised in the city of Springfield. My parents had a restaurant on the north end of town called Courier, and it was in the 1950s. It was kind of like the Al's Diner from the TV show Happy Days for Springfield Lanphier students, Cathedral students, and Ursuline Academy students. And so I was born in 1966 on the north end of town. Went to grade school on the north end, high school at Griffin High School, Springfield College in Illinois, where I met my wife. She went to Springfield College in Illinois as well. We met there and we got married after she went to SIU and got her mortuary science degree, and I went to U of I in Champaign and got my finance degree. The relationship lasted during the distance, so we thought we might as well just lock it in and get married. She got her mortuary science degree. She's a funeral director in Springfield at Staub Funeral Home. She's the last one to let you down, by the way.
Yeah.
And so we have two beautiful children, Maria, who's 18, going on 35, and my son Anthony, who's 13, going on 4.
Oh.
And so, I've enjoyed my time here in Springfield, and I've wanted to give back, and so I've served as county auditor for the last 12 years for Sangamon County government, and I believe that the time is right to begin using the skills that I've learned as both county auditor and a lot of volunteer roles throughout the community to serve the citizens as mayor of the city of Springfield.
Now, talking about your career path, I know you've been the auditor for the last 12 years, but you've also had some other community involvement, like the Kiwanis. You were the president or
yes,
something?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for asking. Along with a lot of local volunteer opportunities and leadership opportunities, I've also been involved with an international organization called Kiwanis International, and that's a organization made up of the individual clubs in various communities around the world. We have a Kiwanis club here in Springfield. It's like a Rotary Club or a Lions Club. It's one of the 3 largest service club organizations in the world. And I had a chance to serve as the president of the entire worldwide organization in the 2009-10 fiscal year. And what that meant is I led a group of 600,000 volunteer members in over 80 countries. And one of the neat accomplishments that I had a chance to engage in and lead was to move the organization toward a worldwide service project. And we all collectively decided, based on a global vote and a global effort, to take on the challenge of eliminating maternal and neonatal tetanus from the face of the earth. Here in the United States, we don't have a problem with tetanus. We get a vaccine and we step on a nail, it clears up. In a lot of underdeveloped countries, tetanus is still a problem, particularly for women of childbearing age who might have the birthing process go on with unsterile instruments. That's where the tetanus spores infect the infant and the mother. If those vaccinations that are necessary are administered, then we can have a very positive birthing process, and the infant lives and the mother lives. And so our organization, Kiwanis International, again, proud to have had the chance to have led the effort. We will raise $110 million and work with UNICEF to make sure tetanus never afflicts a young mother or her babies ever again. So pretty proud of that possibility that I had when I was serving as Kiwanis International president. And I've done a lot of things locally here in Springfield as well. I've had a chance to serve on the Urban League board, had a chance to serve as treasurer of the Hoagland Center for the Arts, and also Salvation Army. I've been instrumental on the Salvation Army board for the last 10 years to make sure that the necessary services that the Salvation Army has provided. So I've enjoyed not only living in Springfield, but helping to serve Springfield and make it a better place. And I've had some unique leadership experiences around the world to make it a better place too.
Okay. Now you also worked in state government for a while.
I
2
did.
years ago.
I did. Yes. In the late 80s, after I graduated from the University of Illinois in Champaign with a finance degree, I returned to Springfield and was offered an internship in Secretary of State Jim Edgar's office. And when I worked for Jim Edgar, I learned a couple of things. One, that government can provide services in a very fiscally responsible manner. Jim Edgar was known for being very disciplined with finances in government, and I learned a lot working for his team. And while he was Secretary of State, he ran for governor of Illinois, and so then after he was successful in that effort, I moved over as part of his team to the governor's office and had a chance to see how, particularly in a very tight fiscal time for the state of Illinois, the early 1990s, I was watching Governor Edgar move Illinois through that tough time period for finances and state government. And I learned a lot again about how to be responsible with taxpayer dollars. And I believe that with those lessons I learned in the early 1990s from Jim Edgar in state government, and particularly with what I've been able to do as county auditor, I can apply those same kind of fiscal discipline lessons to the city of Springfield as mayor.
And speaking of that, why do you want to be mayor of the city of Springfield?
Well, I believe that the city of Springfield has come to a point where we need to take it to the next level, take the next chapter for Springfield's history. For decades, Springfield has been home to generations of families. These days, not so much. I don't believe that there are opportunities for young people to return to once their high school careers are complete or their collegiate careers are complete. And I believe that we need to move Springfield forward as a great city, just like Austin is a great city, just like Madison, Wisconsin is a great city, or Indianapolis. These are great cities that stand alone but also happen to be capitals of their state. And that's where Springfield needs to be. I think for too long, perhaps nearly a century, Springfield has relied on state government as its economic development engine, as its crutch, as its safety net. I'd like to say now, like Elvis, state government has left the building. And so we need to start flexing our economic development muscles that may have atrophied over the last century because we've been so comfortable with what state government has been able to provide. So I would like to move Springfield forward, take it to the next step to bring more jobs and opportunities and businesses to the city of Springfield, because we will need that to be a great city. And if we need to be aggressive in marketing Springfield's strengths to potential businesses, I believe I have the talents and skills, the dynamic leadership skills and the communication skills to make Springfield an attractive place, not only to lead city government, but also to lead the city of Springfield forward to the next level. That's why I'd like to serve as mayor.
Okay. In your opinion, what is the number one issue facing the city of Springfield, and as mayor, how would you deal with it?
The number one issue that affects all citizens is bringing jobs to the city, and that's what I'd like to do. We need to really have a focus on economic development in city government, and have that focus on economic development work hand in hand with all other departments in the city. There's three reasons that a city exists. One is to protect opportunity. And that means we have a top-notch police and fire department that for individuals who want to have a business here and raise their families here, those opportunities to do that are protected. Then we also facilitate opportunity. We facilitate opportunity by making sure that our city water, light, and power is providing service at a reasonable rate, and that our public works are making sure that our streets and transportation opportunities are clear and ready to use. And that's how we make sure that people can fulfill what they want to do, by making sure their power is there and making sure that their streets are there. And then we also develop opportunity in the city, and that's making sure that we have an economic development department that's making opportunity happen, and a convention and visitors bureau that's attracting visitors to the city to bring dollars into the city for tourism. So that's why a city exists, and that's how we will focus on bringing new jobs and opportunities to the city, is just lasering in on those economic development opportunities to elevate what we can do for all citizens. And when we have new jobs and opportunities that are distributed fairly to all elements of the community, then we will grow and move forward as a great city.
Okay. You mentioned CWLP, and I know you also talked about doing some other things. Let's specifically talk about CWLP. If
Yes.
elected, what type of individual would you be looking for to run your utility?
We need a professional and strategic general manager at our utility, City Water, Light and Power. We need somebody to help lead the utility that reports obviously to the mayor and to the city council to help us navigate the energy waters and the water waters to make sure that we're selling energy, that we are developing, providing energy for citizens efficiently and effectively. Somebody who can weather trends and be aware of what's going to be happening in the power market and to help us lead the utility forward with the bottom line of keeping rates low for our ratepayers. I'd also like to add a volunteer advisory board of local citizens appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the city council, a volunteer advisory board that can, in the same way that any major corporation has a board of directors, can supply advice to the leadership of the utility as well as the city council. That way we've got input from the public on how CWLP can best serve the citizens and lead through the waters of power distribution. So that would be one of the things that I'd also add that's new to the leadership of CWLP.
Do you feel like a person like that exists in Springfield now, or would you do a nationwide search to find a person like that?
I think we'd do a search, but I'm also confident that there is talent in the city of Springfield. We may just want to verify the fact that we have that talent here by doing a nationwide effort, but a search to make sure that we are having all the best opportunities available to us. But I do believe if someone is from within the city of Springfield or within the area, I think we've got plenty of talent here that can help us navigate those waters and lead the way. I trust that we have talent here in our great city.
Along those lines, when we're talking about that residency requirement.
Yeah.
What is your take on individuals living in the city, working for the city? Are you for or against a residency requirement?
I am for a residency requirement, and I believe that indeed, if we are here to, as my campaign slogan is believe in Springfield. If you are employed by the city of Springfield, you should live in the city of Springfield. And I believe that there's talent here, and a residency requirement is a good thing for the city. And if anybody, I know it would take the city council to reinstitute the residency requirement, and that's fine. We will offer that. And if a residency requirement is reinstituted, it would be grandfathering all current city employees who do not live within the city boundaries. So anybody that would be outside of the city boundaries now would not have to worry about being forced to move within the city because a new residency requirement has been enacted. And then should a residency requirement be reinstituted, there would be probably a 5 to 10 month accommodation time, an acclimation time period. And then once that residency requirement is reinstituted and someone is hired that does not live within the city limits, they would have 10 to 12 months to then find a residence opportunity in the city of Springfield. So it's not like they would be completely ineligible for employment, but they would have to then comply with the residency requirement within a 10, 11, 12 month time frame after they've been hired.
Okay. And speaking also along the lines of changes in government, I know you've also proposed of moving the Department of Community Relations underneath the Office of Economic Development, and I don't know if there's some other changes that you've
Yes.
also talked
Yeah.
about too. Could you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. I've led a lot of organizations with the theory that you have 1 or 2 or 3 primary goals. And with one of the primary goals for my serving as mayor of the city of Springfield to be economic development, everything that we do would be seen through the lens of that economic development focus. And so we would put a lot of emphasis on that through putting departments under that focus so that that mission of economic development is the overarching mission. So for example, community relations would come under economic development. Why and how? Why is because, well, how community relations and their functions would completely stay the same, but they would have the reason of bringing jobs and opportunities and a welcoming spirit of the city of Springfield that would attract new residents, customers, and businesses and job opportunities to the city of Springfield. I'd also like to see the opportunity for Public Works to divest itself of planning and zoning and put that under the Economic Development Department, so that that mission of bringing new jobs and customers and residents to the city is their mission as well. So with economic development as the focus, a lot of city functions need to be seen through that lens of economic development, and that would help elevate it as a priority for all aspects of city government.
Okay. When Mike Houston took office, finances of the city of Springfield were in a shambles, and he's since righted the ship, if you will. How would you, as mayor, keep that moving along those same lines in terms of not going backwards in terms of the condition it was in at one time?
Very important question, and I believe that my skills and experience as county auditor will help me continue that progress as mayor of the city of Springfield. As I've mentioned, county government is not experiencing any kind of a fiscal crisis, and really hasn't for the last nearly quarter of a century. That's that culture of fiscal responsibility that I have learned and have been a part of, not only working for Jim Edgar and learning those kind of leadership hints for fiscal discipline, but also in Sangamon County government we have that additional experience for fiscal discipline. And it's that kind of experience that I can bring as mayor to the city of Springfield. And it will take some additional willingness to make some tough fiscal choices. It will be, it's not going to be an easy leadership task, but I believe I'm up to it, and I believe I have the experience to make sure that we can continue what Mike Houston has started when it comes to righting Springfield's fiscal ship.
Okay. Economic development, like you stated, is going to be a big issue in your organization, if you will. How would you propose, as mayor, to further economic development in economically depressed areas?
Well, one of the things that I'd like to do is to ensure that we complete, as mayor, I will work to complete the 11th Street corridor. That's a big accomplishment for a couple of reasons. One, it completes the corridor and to connect in efficient manner the educational hub of the city of Springfield with UIS and Lincoln Land and the downtown. Now, once we can complete the 11th Street corridor, that's when business can begin to blossom and move eastwardly. Then what I'd like to do is attract additional manufacturing opportunities to that juncture with I-55 and I-72 to see what kind of job creation opportunities that we can expand into that eastward part of the city of Springfield, and then work westwardly for development from that point. So those are just some of the ideas that I have, but the 11th Street corridor is a completion priority so that that development can begin and start to expand, particularly on an eastward avenue.
And along those lines, too, when you're talking about business and talking about economically depressed areas, we all know that small business drives this country. And as mayor, in terms of particular type of funds that might be available for individuals that want to open up businesses in economically depressed areas, do you have any thoughts on terms of incentives that could be offered to individuals that want to open up businesses in those areas to make them viable?
Yes, we have a great toolbox of incentives currently. And I'd like to work with, as mayor, I'd like to work with the council and the Chamber of Commerce to dream of new ways that we can incentivize small business. Indeed, you're absolutely right, Mike. Small business is the heart and soul of any city. And when it comes to Springfield, we've seen a lot of small businesses in recent years kind of close their doors because they've not had enough residents and then therefore customers to patronize those small businesses. That's a heartbreaker because they've been around for over a century. We need to have an aggressive mayor who's working to bring business opportunities to the city of Springfield. When you bring those business opportunities, they have employees that become customers of other small businesses, and that will just be a high priority. I mean, it's got to be. Otherwise, we will slowly dwindle away, whereas our competitors, cities in central Illinois, are going to blossom. Bloomington Normal is blossoming and Champaign-Urbana is blossoming. We just need to take Springfield into its next chapter. And I believe I've got the management skills to provide the services that city government requires to be provided, as well as the dynamic leadership skills that can send Springfield out as a great city to attract new things to it.
Fly dumping is a major problem in certain sections of the city. How would you propose to deal with it as mayor?
We need to elevate enforcement of fly dumping. We need to be aware of the ordinances that are in place to prevent that from occurring. I think we need to step up enforcement. I am not in favor of putting garbage collection fees onto the city water, light, and power bill. I think that has a potential to punish individuals who are in compliance with the law, and for a few who are not in compliance with the law. So I don't believe that is the solution. I think we need to focus on fly dumping. I think we need to focus on having individuals who are not securing garbage pickup to be in compliance. But I don't believe what might be perceived as an easy solution is fraught with hurdles that would not make it a viable solution.
So would you be in favor of maybe beefing up the staff of inspectors that are
absolutely
currently there?
If not beefing up the staff, repurposing existing staff to help us be on the lookout for those kinds of instances. And it has to come from the purpose of being an attractive inner core community that will bring new residents to the city and new businesses that will then employ those new residents.
Okay. The vacant piece of land, that's the old YMCA spot downtown the city, recently purchased from the state of Illinois. Do you have any ideas for development opportunities or development ideas for that tract of land?
I certainly do. And then again, that's another very important question and a very important piece of having an attractive downtown. That Y block space needs to have residential opportunities. If we're going to attract young people that want to live in a vibrant downtown, we've got to have those chances for either apartment dwellings or condominium dwellings in that Y block space. We need to have some educational aspects of what those developments would appear on that block. If we can attract Southern Illinois University to have a law school satellite on that site, that would be part of an educational aspect. Or perhaps, I know it didn't have success 25 years ago, but that doesn't mean we can't try it again. Let's attract UIS to have some classes in that Y block potential. We got to have some green space in that Y block potential to make attractiveness part of downtown. And that just wouldn't be green space utilized by those residents of that Y block space. That would be green space available to all residents and office employees who reside and work downtown. We need to have some shopping. We need to have the ability to purchase daily needs, detergent, as well as touristy needs like pictures of Abraham Lincoln. I think we have enough touristy places for people to shop, but we certainly need some additional spaces for maybe like a Walgreens or some kind of staple purchasing opportunity in downtown Springfield. Those are just a few of the elements that we need. We've got to have a residential opportunity in that space. We've got to have educational opportunities. We've got to have some shopping opportunities, and we've got to have some green space opportunities. And one more important point that I'm a huge proponent of that we have to bring to the city of Springfield, and that's what's called an incubator. An incubator could work in concert with our educational hub. That's why that 11th Street corridor is always so important. An incubator could work with UIS in much the same way that Springfield, Missouri has an incubator that partners with Missouri State. But an incubator in downtown Springfield, perhaps an open floor plan in that Y block space, in a development of that Y block space, could attract innovators and entrepreneurs from around the country to come to Springfield and research, test, develop, and market products that they might have a chance to dream about and dream up and develop right there in that incubator, that might have medical community connections, that might have government connections, products that might be helpful for other aspects of what we offer here in Springfield, Illinois, perhaps the agricultural community. An incubator brings innovators and entrepreneurs together to play in a sandbox of ideas and to exchange thoughts and work out of some temporary office space to blossom a company and move it forward to grow and bring jobs to whatever desires that blossoming company has. But we need an incubator in partnership with UIS, and that Y Block space has the potential for that incubator to help the city of Springfield be an attraction destination for it.
A lot of emphasis is placed on minority hiring in the city in terms of police and fire departments, and you also talked about, kids going off to college having a place to come back to, and that government can't be the employer of all. And this is more true, especially for African Americans, young African American professionals that go out and get degrees and as attorneys or finance, but yet there are no positions for them to come back to.
Yes.
In terms of employers maybe that wouldn't even be willing to put them on their staff.
Yes.
As mayor, how would you lead the charge to be able to maybe to get some of these companies to start internship programs that would help them in their diversity efforts, kind of what Hanson has done with their engineering program?
You have it in my heart, man. And as mayor, the Hanson engineering template of Grow Our Own is something that we need to foster in additional professions throughout the city. Hanson has that program that's in partnership with the city of Springfield and Sangamon County. We need to expand that offering. We need to encourage, like say, accountancy firms to develop a Grow Our Own program, so to attract young minority individuals to that profession and have them get their hands dirty and their feet wet in the profession so that they can become really interested in becoming a part of that. We also need to have a Grow Our Own template used in the medical community so that young minorities can immerse themselves in healthcare opportunities. And then we also need to see that happen in municipal government as well. Whether it's Sangamon County or the city of Springfield, we need to have those Grow Our Own style aspects to attract young minority individuals to the police and fire professions, and it's a fantastic example of that's working, that is helping foster dreams and talent in the young people that we have of all races and colors. So I'm all for the Grow Our Own template, and as mayor, I know I have the talents and skills to lead the way in encouraging other professions to start the same kind of a program.
Okay. Homelessness in Springfield is a problem in terms of, what do you do with the homeless people? It's one of those NIMBY things. Nobody wants them in their backyard. As mayor, how would you propose to work with the homeless population here in the city of Springfield?
As mayor, I would have the experience of having served on the Salvation Army team for over a decade. And so I know the problem. I know how the problem can be addressed. I believe that the Salvation Army's current efforts to expand their offerings for the homeless population is working. We have to help them help others. And it can't be just government. The mayor has to lead the charge for citizens to get involved outside of the governmental arena. And I believe as mayor that I would have the talents and skills to lead a charge to address that issue, to not only help the homeless through the Salvation Army, but through Contact Ministries and through Helping Hands and through a lot of Catholic charities, through all the other social service agencies that we have in the city of Springfield. We need to encourage additional involvement, and we need to bring more businesses that can help fund that involvement and bring employees to the city that can then get their hands immersed in helping that problem. So I'm fully aware of the homeless issue, and as mayor, I'll work hard to have all of those entities service that issue and help it. And if we have more job opportunities that I've been able to bring here to the city as mayor, perhaps homeless individuals would see themselves being able to have gainful employment to, no pun intended, work themselves out of their cycle of what they're experiencing.
Okay. City of Peoria.
Yes.
Is partnering with Louisville Slugger and is building a major sports complex there. And these are one of these things that I'm pretty big on in terms of sports, being an ex-athlete and knowing the importance of athletics in terms of what it can do and having an avenue or place where something like that can happen at. What's your feeling on a major sports complex in the city of Springfield, such as that? Because the whole thing, in terms of individuals that are coming to this town, stay in the hotel, spend gas, eat food, I think is lost a lot of times in the vision that people have for facilities such as that. I myself would like to see a minor league baseball stadium where the old YMCA spot would be, that would also have residential housing, and kind of like the whole deal that they're doing in St. Louis with the ballpark city,
Sure.
ballpark village,
Sure.
maybe on a smaller scale, that would also have shops, also have baseball, and also have residential housing. Can you speak to that?
I sure can. And I'd like to speak to it from the potential of serving as mayor, and as mayor to say Springfield needs a leader who can cast a vision and encourage people to work toward that vision. And in this case, that vision would be a field of dreams. And we need that. We need to spotlight potential areas where we can have that field of dreams, a sports complex for the city of Springfield that can generate jobs, not only in its construction, but also in its use and in its providing of recreational and enjoyment opportunities for the city of Springfield. 2 spots would be part of that vision, that field of dreams vision. Certainly Robert Roberts Stadium area has potential. Not sure how viable that would be, but let's look at perhaps some vacant land that would be off of Interstate 55 and Interstate 72, perhaps just south of where Schnucks and Godfather's Pizza is located. Perhaps that might be a place where that could be a portion of where a field could be constructed. So I think that we need to look at some areas on that interstate portion of our community, so that people who would visit that facility, that stadium, that sports complex, could easily access it off of the interstate, either I-55 or 72. However they come to Springfield, the transportation ability is right there. But we need to have the vision cast for a field of dreams, and I'd like to be the mayor that helps cast that vision and get people working collaboratively toward that vision, and then eventually realize it. It might take 7, 8, 9 years, but let's start the process. Let's start the dreaming process that eventually leads to completion.
Okay. If elected, what type of management team would you put together to run this city?
A management team that believes in Springfield, a management team that is reflective of the talents and the composition of the community, a management team that has particular creative expertise, the ability to dream, the ability to bring people together toward that, and then to move toward completion of that goal and of that dream. I believe that as mayor, I have the particular talent to lead and then allow talent to flourish, and really just kind of trust but verify, get out of the way so that they can achieve what they're working on, and just kind of check in and make sure that they have all the resources they need to do that. But we have a lot of talented individuals in the city of Springfield, and if they are interested in helping take Springfield to its next level as mayor, I want them on the leadership team and the complete team to help move the city of Springfield forward.
Okay. Many developers say that Springfield is not business friendly. I know a guy that does senior housing and has done 54 projects. He lives here in Springfield and has not done one project in Springfield because he feels Springfield is not business friendly. As mayor, how would you change that perception?
Anecdotally, we hear so many stories about individuals who have attempted to fulfill their goals and dreams in the city of Springfield for business and felt like it was a burdensome pool of quicksand that they couldn't navigate through. We need to, if indeed that culture exists, and anecdotally we hear that that culture exists, first thing we can do is perhaps change that overarching mission by perhaps putting planning and zoning under economic development, so that the purpose becomes helping business flourish. Once we can make that move, then we start enhancing how people look at their responsibilities as a regulatory hand up in partnership, rather than a regulatory stamp down because this must be the way it is. We have to offer a governmental hands up so that it can be a partner in helping an entrepreneur or a developer achieve what they want to achieve. And indeed, we can't take advantage of citizens or whatever those regulations are put in place for, but we can certainly make sure that we have organized ourselves as a city government, a regulatory environment, so that we have told a developer everything that needs to happen along the way right up front, so that we're not, after they've already made progress and invested dollars, that we're not knocking on their door and say, hey, wait a minute, you have to do this now. And then the developer's like, well, why didn't you tell me that, several months ago instead of now? We need to be completely shepherding through the regulatory process with that hands-up partnership so that the developer feels positive and excited about what they were able to accomplish with the city of Springfield in compliance. And we just need to have that culture. I believe as mayor, I can lead that culture shift. I can lead that perspective that helps developers achieve their dreams and make Springfield a city that business people will want to come to and to achieve their goals and dreams.
A while back, I had an opportunity to interview Mayor Francis Slay, the mayor of the city of St. Louis, and one of the things that he was most proud of was their permitting process in terms of them being able to issue a building permit the same day.
Isn't that something?
Which I think is remarkable. And naturally, you have a bigger city, you have more staff, but would that be something you'd also look at in terms of adding more staff in order to make that process go quicker, if you will, or look at ways to enhance that?
It may not necessarily be a staffing issue. It might just be a focus issue, a culture issue, a willingness to partner issue. I don't know if necessary, if staff is the solution, but it is a one-day permitting process would be a goal that we could work toward. And as mayor, we need to make that process of approval as efficient and as effective as possible. And you'll see that with a Palazollo administration working for the benefit of economic development. And again, if we're not with that focus has to be our main priority so that Springfield can blossom and continue to grow to be that great city that we need it to be.
Governor Rauner recently proposed work-free zones in the state of Illinois, which I believe was just recently struck down or declared illegal by Attorney General Lisa Madigan.
Yes.
What is your opinion on those work-free zones, even though it's been declared illegal, but were you for or against something like that? Or
I am against that work-free zone concept. It is, and to engage in it is a distraction from what we need to focus on. So I'm against going there. I'm against the concept. I'm against what we need to do right now is to focus on bringing jobs and opportunities to the city of Springfield. We cannot have things on our plate that take our eyes off the ball, to use a sports analogy. We have to be able to focus in on bringing jobs and opportunities and businesses, new businesses, and retain our current businesses to move forward.
Okay. How, as mayor, how would you have handled the Shredgate incident?
First of all, as mayor, we'll immediately go in and let folks know that such actions that either precipitated Shredgate or Watergate or any other gate in history will not be tolerated under a Palazollo team and a Palazollo administration for the city of Springfield. Again, not only is it against the law, but it keeps our eyes off the ball of what we need to do as a leadership team, and that's bringing new jobs and opportunities and businesses to the city of Springfield. So how would I have handled it? Well, first of all, as I said, initially up front, make it clear that sort of behavior or actions will not be tolerated. Secondly, if something like that does occur, we immediately inform the public, inform the press, and make folks aware that we are going to be completely open and transparent in the public awareness of the issue and the handling of the issue. Then we need to find out all of the pertinent facts. We need to learn how or what happened and keep the public informed as we learn what and how it happened. And then once we determine the facts and then administer the consequences, we then keep the public informed in what the consequences, what they are, why they are, and then how they have been administered.
Okay. I know we might be putting the cart ahead of the horse here, but if you are elected, would you look to serve a second term? I know that was one of the things that Mayor Houston, when he ran the first time, this particular time, and he said he was not going to seek a second term, and I believe it possibly turned off some voters. Would you make a statement like that, or would you get in and let me get my feet wet and,
Sure.
and see? Or
I'm not in the pledge business, but I can tell you this, that as mayor, I will work diligently to earn the opportunity for a second term, and then I will work diligently to earn the opportunity for a third term. And then during that third term, I will work diligently to have Springfield be proud of the accomplishments that a Palazollo team was able to do and reflect back on as something that was positive for the city of Springfield. There's a 3-term max for officials in the city of Springfield. And I would work diligently throughout 12 years to not only earn continued support for serving in the role, but also to have earned a positive reputation for having done the right things and made significant progress for the city's sake after serving 12 years.
And after that, would you have any other political aspirations?
I believe that after I've had a chance to serve 12 years as mayor, never say never, but it's probably time to focus on grandchildren and enjoying what prospects family life entails, or getting back into some of the volunteer things that I've enjoyed for the last 3 decades or so, and be an advisor to some other elements of either government or local service efforts. But certainly I would have had the joy of serving, hopefully, by earning 12 years as mayor and earning a positive reputation where people would be looking to me to help out in other local efforts.
Okay. How important are endorsements? And I know you've received some endorsements. How much value do you give to those? How important are endorsements to you?
I believe that endorsements are very important. I believe that it is when you're putting your resume together and you're seeking employment, on your resume you always have references at the back of the resume, and so I believe that endorsements are like those references, so that people can look to those either references or endorsements to be a judgment of the individual's character and capabilities. I'm extremely proud to have been endorsed by several individuals that have positive reputations in the community. Former Mayor Karen Acera has endorsed my ability and potential to serve. Chico Bell has endorsed my potential and capabilities to serve. State Senator Larry Bomke has been positive toward my candidacy and has endorsed us. Congressman Rodney Davis and former Governor Jim Edgar. All of those individuals have said that I have the capability, the experience, and the high level of potential to serve well in the office of mayor. I'm humbled by those endorsements, and I now feel that it is my responsibility to live up to those endorsements and that level of confidence that those individuals have placed in staking their reputation on my ability to deliver well.
Okay. There's been talk about, I'll have actually another question along those same lines, but we all know that this is a nonpartisan election. You have received the endorsement of the Republican Party, as well as your opponent, Jim Langfelder, received the endorsement of the Democratic Party. Historically, most African Americans, blacks, do vote Democrat. How do you feel, or how are you going to get your message to resonate with those individuals, that block of individuals, in terms of listening to what you have to say and being able to support you?
Sure. There's no Republican or Democratic way to fill a pothole, and there's no Republican or Democratic way to ensure that there's job opportunities that come to a city. But I would hope that African Americans, Asian Americans, Italian Americans, or any individual that lives in the city of Springfield can look to what I offer that will be successful in this role. And here's what I offer. I offer management skills and experience to deliver city services efficiently and effectively. Make sure that those streets are plowed when it snows. Make sure that the lights go on when you flip on the switch. And that's this side of the mayoral responsibility ledger that I hope individuals of all genders and races look at. The other side that they would also need to look at as I offer myself forward in this role is the leadership skills that you need to inspire, to lead, to motivate, and to encourage and collaborate. And that's another aspect that I bring to the role. And I forgot to also another important word, communicate well. And so that's what I believe that African Americans, Asian Americans, individuals of all races, and indeed gender in the city of Springfield, all can look to Paul Palazollo and say, this guy has the potential to fill both sides of the responsibility ledger as mayor extremely well. And that's why we need him serving in that role to help move Springfield forward.
There's been some talk here recently about an ordinance I just kind of heard about dealing with food vendors, food truck vendors, and I don't know if you're familiar with that. In terms of that story, you have any opinion on that yet in terms of what you think about that?
I believe that individuals who have invested property tax dollars and time in ensuring that their bricks and mortar place of business is successful need to have a fair playing field, a level playing field with individuals who are able to just have and I don't want to diminish what a food truck is or what it offers, but it certainly is not as grounded, no pun intended, or property tax invested into the community as a bricks and mortar facility is. So I do believe that the ordinance has value in making sure that the playing field is level for businesses who want to offer dining or food opportunities to citizens of the city of Springfield. And then let the consumer make their choice based on the offerings that are in that food truck or that brick and mortar business. But a food truck should not be able to steal away potential business by virtue of location from a business that has invested in property taxes and employees and human resource personnel, and after they've made their investment in their life and sweat and the equity that they have, rather than just a food truck that just can locationally infringe upon that traffic. So I believe it's a fair level playing field that the ordinance is trying to enact. Perhaps 1,000 feet is not the right distance. Maybe it may need to be the circumference of 1,000 feet may need to be decreased a little bit, but I think it is I think it has value to make sure that brick and mortar businesses aren't infringed upon unfairly.
Well, and I want to also continue this conversation about that too, because when I think about those particular type of individuals that have food vending trucks or whatever, I mean, it boils down to what they can afford. And I'm thinking also too about the whole thing about somebody building a better mousetrap.
Sure.
If your food is such a way that it wouldn't matter who was against you or who was next to you, whatever. I guess I just have some different feelings on that, but I can say I respect what you have to say about that. I have a friend of mine, close friend of mine, who just recently opened up his own food truck on South Grand, JJ's Fish and Chips, Jerome
Cool.
Taylor.
Cool.
And I know that was a dream that he's had and he'd been working on for about 10 years. And it finally came to fruition, and I like the fact that he's, stuck out there, went out there because he quit his job to do this. So, I mean, even though he might not have the investment from a brick and mortar standpoint, I mean, he quit a stable job in order to do something like that too. And I believe some kind of way a person like that would need to be protected. But again, that's just my opinion on it too.
But individuals who have built a better mousetrap, I mean, it's not like say when you're in a food court, and you know that if you're going in there in a food court, you know that you're going to be in close proximity. That's your ahead of time knowledge of your situation. But if all of a sudden now someone has just come along and perhaps maybe they have a better product, but locationally let's not poach customers locationally. let's attract them because we've got the best fish. Let's not distract customers. Let's attract them. Let's not distract them.
Okay. We've all saw what happened in Ferguson this past summer, and the issue of racial profiling is something that's a big issue in the minority community, the black community specifically. I know the city is proposing to buy body cameras for the police officers. What's your feeling on that, and what's your feeling on racial profiling?
Well, first of all, racial profiling should not be a concept engaged in any police force. I think we need to be building relationships of trust in all communities in our police force, and there are a number of ways that we can do that, whether it's elevating the neighborhood watch program that I've called for, engaging in activities that raise that knowledge and that relationship level. But body cameras, I believe, are a critical tool in the toolbox to protect both citizens and officers of the law. And as soon as the rules are clear on how long tape must be stored, what are the required operating times for those cameras, when are they turned on duty, are they on off duty time? As soon as we know all of those parameters, as mayor, I will ensure that body cameras are part of the toolbox that we have to administer justice fairly and equitably, and help fairly and equitably. I mean, officers aren't there to just ensure compliance with the law. They're there to assist in times of distress, and they're there to assist in times of need, not just necessarily when things are bad. And perhaps a flat tire is something bad, but an officer is there to help in all kinds of instances, not just when a law is being violated. So racial profiling has no place in any law enforcement agency, and as mayor, body cameras will be an important tool in the toolbox and to protect both officers and citizens.
Okay. Just have a couple more questions
Sure,
for you, Paul.
sure. This is great. I love it.
Would you be in favor of adding any more TIFs in the city of Springfield?
I don't know if we'll actively seek to add, but if the opportunity arises, we will investigate the value of additional TIFs and see how they play into how existing TIFs are laid out in the city. If there was any need for a new TIF, perhaps the north end of Springfield might be a unique location for an additional TIF should one happen to expire or but right now we need to investigate the value for any additional TIFs, and when we do have opportunities for additional TIFs, I think we need to have all levels of municipal government that are impacted by that at the table, so that they have a voice in how that TIF is crafted.
Okay. And my last question, do you have anything else that you'd like to add or tell the voters?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for the chance. I've really enjoyed the conversation and the opportunity to answer questions that have been several important questions and insightful to what Springfield needs to move forward. And indeed, that's the critical aspect. As I mentioned earlier, Springfield is poised to launch forward to its next chapter. You talked about Mayor Houston and how he had righted the ship financially of the city of city government. Now with that launching pad of a sounder base for finances in the city of Springfield, it's time to keep that ship in the right direction. I bring those fiscal responsibility, leadership skills to the table to continue in that direction, but then we also need that dynamic leadership sense, that strong, bold voice that can help move Springfield forward to attract businesses, customers, additional residents, and opportunities to the city of Springfield. And I bring that with the focus of, to help move Springfield into its next chapter, we need to have opportunities so that our city's grandchildren and children can be 10 minutes away and not 10 hours away. And that's what we need to do, is to be a city of employed families that is moving forward and growing in our strength and our growth and opportunities.
Paul, thank you for coming out.
Michael, thank you.
Good luck on April 7th. We've been visiting with Paul Palazollo, candidate for mayor in the city of Springfield. Make sure that you get out and vote. April the 7th. Vote early and vote often. Thanks for joining us. Okay.